All right, let's try this again. So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining me here. All right, this is still a little goofy, isn't it? All right. I think all anyone can see is just like my confused face here. So let's see how that's working. All right, can you hear me at least now? All right, hello everyone. So hopefully this is going all right. So Sylvia and Paula, okay, and Melissa and Sally. So let me know if you guys can hear me. All right. Okay. So got sound now. All right. You look perplexed. Okay, so yes. All right, so I'm going to keep going so you guys can see me and hear me now. So that's fine. Let's just start off where we left off. But, all right, you can hear on YouTube. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, good. I think the one camera is still messed up here, but all right, we're gonna just start from here, you guys. We're working on that Granny Square Quilt again. We'll see how it goes tonight here. I know it's a little goofy already, but good. I'm glad it's working. Okay, so on Facebook it looks like. Okay, so Pamela, you can see the overhead shot. Okay, so I think we're fine on YouTube and Facebook. I just don't think one of it is not working. Okay, so all right, let's just get going again here. I think we're working on both. All right, so we are continuing on this sashing. We have sewn all our pieces together, and I haven't snipped any of them apart yet, so I'm going to just continue from there, from last night. All right, it looks like we're working on both now. So here we go. I'm going to snip these apart. So remember, we're sewing a bunch of strips together. So we sewed on the diagonal here, and I'm just going to, and then we just chain pieced it. So I'm going to just snip all these apart, and we're going to end up with one super duper duper long, long strip here. These are 8 pieces that are the width of the fabric, and we ultimately need 5 59-inch pieces. And we'll check the instructions again just to double check on that 59 inches. But I think that will be the deal. And I found a ruler at the office, and actually Jenna found it, and it's super duper long. So I got this ruler at some point. It is a 36-inch ruler, which is way longer. Like, it's almost as long. That's about how much space I have here a little bit. I have like one more foot this way, and then I have about this 36 inches upright. So it barely fits on my table, but I think this will be a great, we can use this to get our 59 inches. So we'll measure like 29 and a half inches folded, and I think that will be how we get our pieces out of here. So we're going to be using that ruler today. But first, we got a little ways to go before that. So let's start off. I'm going to heat up my iron. Let's start out by getting rid of our clips. So that one doesn't have one. So ultimately, we're going to end up like this, but we need to snip all of this away and press. So I'm going to start by getting rid of the clips and just checking that we sewed everything in the right direction, and I think we did. But see, we got our long, long strip. Gina says you need a tape measure. They're cheap. The thing thing is that I need this to be exactly perfect 59 inches, and that's why the big ruler. And I could have done it just with my mat, just like measured, you know, about, 10 inches, a bunch of times, or 30 inches a few times to get us there. Or 30 inches would have been too much, but for my ruler. But like 20 inches, I get it on 20 inches like 3 times, and then subtracted a little bit. So that's still an option for us. But I'm just starting out here. And actually, I might try and double it up. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to figure out how to maneuver these sashing pieces. So I think the first thing I want to do is, I think I'm going to press first. Or is that weird? Should I trim these all first? I think we're going to press first just to make sure that I'm going the right direction, and then I will trim all these. So, all right, let's give this a nice old press. I have not pressed these at all yet, and so it'll be good to do now because we need these to be exact, and all these little folds could mess us up down the road, I'm thinking. This is where we're really going to start making sure the size of our quilt is just right. All right, now here's our first seam. I think maybe I do want to trim these off first. I don't know. What do you guys usually do for this? I think I'm going to just take my rotary cutter here, and my scissors here, and trim off that seam allowance. There, it'll be like so. Let's just give it a press, and we'll get rid of the dog ears too. I think I'll press it open as well. Just so there's a little less bulk here. Check it. Okay, so Sylvia's saying check it right, then trim and iron. Yeah, we should probably check it first. So I'm gonna just check it. Well, I'm already in this one, so I'm gonna just trim the little dog ears off. That's plenty good. All right, so let's just make sure that I put them all the right side up, and I didn't put a right side with the wrong side. So the seam should be up as I go across here. Okay, that one's up, good. That one's up. Like, we didn't want to do one backwards on accident, so that one's fine. That one's up. Because now's the time that I can fix this mistake by re-sewing it, so I want to do this first. Up. Up. And that's the last one. Great. Okay, so I'm going to just go little by little here and press and then trim like how we did this first one. We will just see how this process goes today. Again, we're working with the bulky things again. I'm not used to working with all this bulk. We only ever do this when we get to this point of a quilt, which means we're far along with this quilt, so that's kind of nice. Gretchen says I trim first. Jan says she trims first too. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to just grab both of these. I'm just cutting so that I got like about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to press, and then I'll press it open, and then I'll get rid of those dog ears. All right. we're just dispersing the bulk so it's on both sides. So like a layer of 2 and a layer of 2 instead of one having a layer of 3 with the seam. Sylvia says, I've done it backwards in the past. I sure have too. And what I mean backwards is like there's a seam on this side, but the next time the seam's on the other side, which means you're all backwards. So that's no good. One of those has to be, you have to turn your whole thing around. So I'm a little paranoid about it now for that reason. So I'm glad we did that little check beforehand. All right, here's the next one. So let's give that a trim. Okay, let's press and then we'll trim again. Oh, Jen says she presses open as well. Yeah, I think it'll just reduce bulk in that little area where the seam will be in the sashing. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to affect things. There's a whole lot more seams going on in these blocks than just this little seam here. But maybe it'll make it just a hair less visible, and that's good with me. Those don't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of reducing bulk. Although that one was extra weird. Let's trim that a little nicer. I'm trying to make sure not to cut the actual sashing, just that little extra piece that's on it. Oop, there's that center fold. Kind of got that funny. You could do this with a rotary cutter, but I just think it's fast to have a scissors nearby and just do it. Getting that top one kind of crooked. All right, look at that one more time. Thanks for everyone who got our new embroidery bundle today and yesterday. Yesterday was the first day that the new bundle is out because it's March. So thanks so much for your orders. They will be shipping them again tomorrow, and the tea towel pre-orders just came in today, so or like late this evening. So those will be going out tomorrow as well. So your tea towels are here. We are getting more and more parts coming to us for the stiletto pre-order. So those are still on their way. So the stiletto order will be a little while yet, but the towel order, that will be coming soon. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated on the stiletto pre-order. It's just taking a little while to get the beads that we need in. So that'll be coming up yet. But towels are going to be on their way tomorrow. But I think we're going to need to order more right away because I think we're almost going to... I ordered like a bunch extra, but I think we're almost out of all those too. So there might be a few more left. If not, I will order some more right away. But I'm excited. The towels are so pretty. And I know some of you got the towels already. A few of you got them before we ran out the first time, and I saw a couple pictures, and I hope you guys like them. If you have some of the towels, let me know how you like them. I think they're just going to be awesome for stitching on, and they're just pretty in general. So I definitely checked before I started cutting. If you're just coming in, I did check to make sure that these are all going in the right direction before I just go ahead and just trim. So we did check. So that's good. We're getting there. I think we gotta, this is the second to last one, I think. Okay, this is our last seam, and then we just we'll press this and trim, and then get the rest of our length here, just because it's pretty wrinkly. Oh, Kathy says, I love the towels. I got the gray and the blue. Yay! Are you going to have ideas for what to stitch on them? I think we will coming up here. I got a few ideas, and we have some things in the works. And yeah, actually, we might have some time to stitch some of that later this month. So I do have some ideas. They are in the works, but yes, I think we'll have some fun things we can stitch on those towels too coming up. And even just like, I think the herbs would be a really nice thing to stitch on them, but I think we'll have a few like kind of little smaller things too. There we go. Oh, that is a step completed. That feels good. Okay, next up is where we're gonna cut these to that 59 inches. I do want to just double check for sure that in the instructions here that it is 59 inches. I know we just read these yesterday, but I'm just double checking. Yep. Okay, 5 2-inch by 59-inch sashing strips. Okay, 59 inches. So I am hoping, and I'll get I think I'm going to need my mat out here as well. I'm going to need lots of space. Actually, let's scooch some things here. I'm going to open this up. There we go. We're going to start on this side, and I think what I'd like to do, so I got this really big ruler out here. I mean, so 59 and a half, that's 60 inches minus a half. So my first idea of doing this is getting a nice edge here and then counting like at the 20-inch mark, and then just like grabbing and marking, 20 inches 3 times, and then subtracting the ½ inch and then cutting. That is idea number 1. I think the idea I might try here is folding in half until I get 29 inches, and this ruler is 36 inches, or 29 and a half inches. So this ruler is 36 inches. I was thinking I'm gonna have to flip this way, I think. Oh gosh, space issues. Here. I think we're getting it here. So so I can have this at the 29 and a half inch mark, and then I can trim both ends here. I think that's my ideal method. But this is not, I am not set up for that sort of space here, but let's give it a try anyway. So 29 and a half is about here. We're gonna have just like a tish extra, I think, doing it this way, but I think it'll be, I think we'll be able to do it. Just need just enough space here. Okay, so 29 and a half and a little bit extra. All right, let's kind of shift these together a bit. I'm gonna lay this on one of the rule lines. I think we're actually going to scooch, well, I don't know, right here. Let's lay this on top. So I want this at, over here, I want this at 29 and a half. So I think I'm just going to kind of tug on it till it's at the 29 and a half, and then that's where I'm going to cut on this side. So we'll lose like, you know, a 1/4 inch or so of the edge, but I'm guessing we have tons of extra. This idea may not work, but we're trying it. Had the ruler, so thought we'd give it a go. So I think that's looking pretty decent. We could probably pull it a tiny, tiny hair more. All right, 29 and a half is right there. I think we got it. All right, let's get the cutter and my glove here. And here is our first 29 and a half. Hooey! All right, we did one. Is the table long enough to put tape down? No, my table's definitely not long enough for tape for the whole distance. But I think this might work, so this will just take a few tries. So that's our first one. So that's one 59-incher. We need 5 more here. So let's do that again. And I'm going to kind of use this as a guide to start out with. So 29 and a half. So probably a little less than this. Ooh, and I also don't really want it cut on right on top of a seam here, so I'm going to go a little beyond. I think we'll have enough with the 8 that we cut, so I think we'll get by with going a little beyond here. Hopefully we'll be okay. Let's see. Actually, I might end up back on it, huh? Oh yeah, we could measure with what we cut already, but I'm a little leery of that. I want to just make sure that these are all the same, and if I measure with that one, I think I might be trimming it more and more down. I don't know. Well, this one I might get right. Ugh, you know what? I'm going to pull on it a little bit more. I don't want to have this seam in the way, so I'm going to just pull it up a hair more like so. And so I'm not cutting right on the seam, so I scooch it up like a couple inches. We're going to have a little edge here, but I suspect that we'll have enough still. If not, we'll just sew that piece on the end, I suppose. Okay, let's get this ruler back on. So I'm going to get this place at the 29.5-inch, the fold here. I think I'm getting a little bit more. I'm not going to worry about this end so much. And then, there we go, 29.5. We are fine. Great. This will be 2. All right. So we did have a little extra edge on that one, but again, that was so we could shift the whole piece. So I wasn't cutting, like right on. I would have been like really close to cutting right on this piece here. So that's 2. So all these seams are in like funny spots, in all different spots, but that's good. That's what we're going for. That we don't want these seams to all be in the same spot. All right, this will be 3. Oop, I need a bit more. So we're losing a little each time, but this designer, Lissa Alexander, at least for the rest of this quilt, has been generous in her measurements so that if you do, you don't need to have like perfect everything. There's a little extra each time. So I'm hoping that's the case here as well. Okay, 29.5. Oh, I can do less here. Okay, that's about good. That's good enough for us to trim, I think. Just line up our edge. Okay, 29.5. On that fold. Okay, this will be 3. Just losing a tiny edge each time. Three, 2 more we need. Ooh, this is going to be another one that we're close to being on that seam. We'll just maybe do it that way this time. A little bit more. Yeah, that's good. Oh, we're not on it. Good. We're close to that sewn seam, but we're not quite on it. All right, I feel like I'm getting the hang of this now. That's always the case, like right when I'm practically done, then I'm like, okay, I think we got this now. 29.5. Okay, we still look good on the 29.5 point here. All right, this is 4. It'd be really annoying to accidentally cut this like an inch short or something. All right, that's 4. So we should have enough here, and it looks like we have plenty, thank goodness. Good. I thought we might get a little extra in there, so that makes me happy. So if you do go over, assuming you're using just normal 44-inch or so wide fabric, that 8 strips cut is going to be just fine. I got tons left over. I got over a foot left over. So good. Okay, 29.5. I think this is as good as we're gonna get these. Okay. Phew, that feels good. So we have this much left over. So we did have quite a bit left, but we did need the 8 strips. We could not have done it with less. So all right, enough of that giant ruler for the evening. That was kind of fun to play with. All right, so we should have 5 here now. So we have our sashing pieces. That's fabulous. So this is what we were trying to get to. Next up, we are still in bulky world of stuff now. We've moved beyond working on little blocks, and now we're dealing with bulk. So I'm going to just take our first one. I'm going to put the rest aside so it's out of the way. And I'm going to grab our first block, our first row here. So what I ultimately want to do is I want to get this bottom edge attached to this guy here. But the trick is this is going to stretch and pull, so we need to pin it or clip it. I'm going to use the Wonder clips here, and we need to clip them to here. But we want to do it equally. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to fold this in half and put a little like pinch it, like make a little seam or a little edge. Oh, you know what? We got to press this first. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. And then we will use that to line up our center points and then work from there. But first, we definitely have to press this, which means more dealing with the big bulky. So in the instructions, it had us press the seam allowances to the sashing. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to get it from the front here first, and then I'll flip it around, and or from the back here, and then I'll flip it around and do the front as well. So we'll get this nice, and I might even fold it in half and iron in a little mark for us. I think that might be helpful. So towards the seam, or sashing, and I'll make sure that this is nice and we got all of it from the front. So I'm just going to quickly do it from the back. Just kind of get it going, and then we'll flip to the front. But I can already tell just holding onto these blocks how stretchy they are. So this is going to be an important step. And that's why I wanted these exactly that 59 inches, just like how it said, because that's what's going to determine, the long sashing is what's going to make sure that this is all square and nice. Because that is not as stretchy as these pieces that are all like on a diagonal. Like all these sewing and cuts are on a diagonal, which makes it stretchy. So our sashing is the non-stretchy part. So that's got to be like the thing that we measure against. That's why I was so picky with those. With the 59 inches. All right, let's get this from the front again. Get it all nice, and then we'll do that front measuring point, that folding in half. This is like our final nice press of these rows. Ugh, they're already looking nice pressed. Sylvia says I need a bigger cutting area. I have to head to the floor. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with my little space here. I am in a very small space. Like, that was 36 inches, so that's 3 feet. I think I had another foot. So I have about a 3 foot by 4 foot space here. And man, it works great for when I'm just doing all my little small stuff, like working on these blocks and just a little pressing and a little cutting with my small little boards. But man, when we get to bulk zone, like when we're at this stage of projects, it gets trickier for sure. These are looking nice all pressed though. And we can finally start seeing that nice little frame. So all these are getting a little bit more spread out in the quilt because of that sashing, which is kind of fun. I like it. Oh, I definitely clipped some corners here. Eek! That was not very good. And I'm still leaving my number and the clip here because the clip to me means upper left-hand corner. So I know even if I flip this around like I already have been, I always know this is the leftmost part. And it's the top too. But the left kind of already determines that. And then 1, I need to remember which row this is for later. So I'm just leaving that on. Okay, we are pressed, and I think I am going to do that fold. I'm just folding it in half here, and it should be like right in the middle of that sashing, right? So we already know where it should be. So I think I'm actually going to match these seams here. And that middle sashing is going to be our center point. So I'm just going to put a little tick mark on the bottom, just a little. I just pressed it right in the middle there. There, we should have 3 on each side. Yep, so right in the middle, you can see I just put like a little tick mark. I'm going to do the same thing with the sashing, and that we're going to line up the middle, we're going to line up the ends, and then we'll just kind of work through the center area. And we will be clipping this kind of more than I usually would, just because these pieces are super stretchy, and I just want to, make sure that they're staying in place. So now this one, I just got to fold it in half and just hold that end together, because there's no obvious center. I think I might just put this on a flat surface. And we'll finger press that. Okay, right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna match with right sides together. I gotta make sure that I'm, uh-oh. There's so many little folds in here, I lost it already. Which fold is it? All right, let's get these together again. It's whatever folds right here. Okay, there. That's our center fold. Okay, I'm still kind of nervous about that because that's right on the line there. I'm gonna do this again. And I'm gonna press in the fold, I think. Because there's so many like kind of little phantom folds, I suppose, in this. That could be a new term. A phantom fold. But so I just want to make sure that I'm actually on that point, the matching point, and not just like some other random fold. So that's going to be a nice sharp fold there. There we go. That's a sharper fold. So that's what I'm going to match up with right sides together to this part here. And let's sit down and get the clips out here. Okay, so matching those up. So we know that is the center point of both of these. So now I'm gonna just forget about this side for now, and I'm gonna shimmy down here, lay this flat, and then I'm gonna lay this flat on top, and let's clip the beginning. Actually, I think this will be the end. We'll start sewing from the other side. So we'll clip there. And now let's just try and lay this flat on here and just kind of pull it. I'm just kind of stretching it a little bit so they're both, so the sashing is taut and there's no like weird bunchiness in the block fabric, the strip. And all right, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to kind of clip in the center, make sure we got that point. And I'm going to clip on in the centers here as well. And I actually might just clip these into thirds. So if you find that this side is way bulkier and you want to match it to here, you're going to have to kind of bunch it a little bit, little by little throughout this process if you want to force it to be that 59 inches. But I think we're going to just go like this. So when I sew this, I'm going to just make sure that I'm kind of not stretching it, but making sure that from here to here, it's not getting all bulky on one side. I want it all like this to be in the exact same spot on the front and the back. All right, let's do this into thirds, and then we'll do the other side. Ugh, then it'd be nice to actually start sewing, but I think we might be leaving sewing till tomorrow. We'll see. But it would be nice to just get one of these done. So we might still try and sew one of these since we did start a little late. Maybe we'll still do that. Ugh, my table's just short again for me here. Small space problems. All right, well, I can start off by clipping the beginning. I don't have to have this anywhere good for that. Okay, and now let's kind of lay it out nice. Get those edges touching. All right, center is about there. And let's get the thirds in here. Good. And let's get this little bit here now. I'm ready to sew. Let's sew this strip on. Whew, all right, let's do it. Oh, look at this. Oh, my machine, it came with it. That's a strong magnet on the bottom of here. All right, let's, well, I think I can throw them at here right away. Okay, let's sew. All right, so I'm going to put this in my lap, and I'm sewing with the blocks at the bottom, just because those are kind of the stretchier bit. Do my scant 1/4 inch. Let's pull our first one away, and I'm just going to make sure my edges are aligned, and I'm going to that next clip. And I'm making sure that nothing's getting too bulky underneath. All right, so we're just going clip to clip here. But it all seemed like it was lining up pretty well. I'm I'm just gonna toss these back into my little bin as I go. Otherwise I'll have clips everywhere. So we're basically going to repeat this with 4 more rows, because we have 6 rows total, but we're only doing this to 5 rows because the last row will get a border on the bottom, not another piece of sashing, so that'll happen later. So right now we're going to put one of these on the bottom of 5, 1 through 5, and then we'll have to sew these big pieces to the next rows underneath. And that's when we're going to really, really get bulky. We'll start, so our 1 big row will turn to 2 big rows. And then we'll have to start sewing 2 to 2s, and it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're just going to get bulkier and bulkier here. But it also means that we're almost done. Done with the top, at least. Okay. Got about 2 more squares to go on this. There's another one of our seams. Whenever I curve, it's because I'm getting stuck on this edge here. Ooh, I'm glad we put a new bobbin in yesterday, or 2 days ago, whenever we did that, because this would have been horrible to run out of bobbin on this. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on that, because sewing all these long rows does use up a lot of bobbin thread, and I don't want to have sewn a whole row and then have to re-clip it and everything because I didn't notice that I was out of bobbin. Okay, let's get this off the machine and see what we got here. All right, let's get rid of our clips. Okay, so I'm not going to press this quite yet, although it probably wouldn't hurt. Maybe we should press this as we go. But yeah, here's our center point. Yeah, let's get this seam off. You know what? I think I'm going to press this quick tonight yet. I suspect we press again towards the sashing, just because I think it's going to be easier to sew this to the next piece with it being pressed, so we don't have to deal with it flopping around everywhere. It'll just be nice and flat. So I think while I'm here, I'm going to just quickly, we'll go this direction. It just feels easier this way. And I'm going to just get these nice and flat right away. Then they'll be ready to go for the next round. So they'll all be nice and pressed. It'll just be easier. I'm tempted to fold it in half and put that halfway point again, but I think I'm a little bit more comfortable doing that right before we sew them together. So I'm positive on the exact spot that we need it at. It's looking good though. They're finally looking like they're kind of framed up. All the blocks. Got a little funny in there, but what you gonna do? So some of my blocks are definitely smaller. Like there's a big gap here, whereas these ones were definitely bigger because I clipped a bunch of ends. And you know, we got some puckers in here. It's a whole world of stuff here, but it's a finished, it's gonna be a finished quilt. John said something fun before I came on here tonight. Oh, I'm not going to remember exactly how he said it, but he said that, you know, we're working on the quilt and I'll have an hour more of quilt when I'm done tonight. And I'm like, yep, you know what? I am going to have an hour more quilt. And that's just cool. That's a neat way of thinking about it. So we have an hour more quilt here tonight. All right, so that's pretty cute. There's that bottom sashing, and it is coming together. I feel it here. All right, I'm going to fold this up again, and we're going to set this aside. It'll have a little bit more bulk at the bottom this time. Uh-oh. No! Oh, that's where this came from, this little clip. I'm like, there's a straight clip over here, so that must have come off. But did you hear my reaction? That's my reaction if my guiding like light clip comes off. But luckily we would have known because we had a bottom sashing here, so obviously that's the bottom. So there's visual reminders too. But all right, that is one. And I think, you know, obviously I'm hoping we can get more than one of these done tomorrow. A lot of our day today was getting these guys, our sashing strips, cut just right. But now that they're done, I think we should be able to get 2 more done tomorrow. So that will be 2 and 3. So tomorrow is Wednesday, so that means Thursday we could get 2 and 3. We could get 4 and 5 done. So I think we'll get to this stage with all of the rows, except for row 6, because it doesn't get that, by end of day Thursday. And then Friday is Finish It Friday. So we will break out something here that we haven't worked on in a little while. We'll have to think about that. And we will take a break from this again and do some Finish It Friday stuff. So I think I'm actually going to end it right here because I'm not sure that front camera is working. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. And yeah, let's get more of these rows done. They're looking really nice. And again, be sure to check out the bundle for this month. This would look great with some of those kitchen towels, just all those nice herbs for cooking. We got the parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And we do have an option if you just want the printed fabric, we have that as well, or we have the full bundle and the PDF pattern. So check those out at penguinandfish.com, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night.